Hey there, balanced lady bosses. This is Stacy, and welcome to another epic episode of the Balanced Lady Boss Show. I'm so pumped and psyched to be bringing this particular episode to you today because it's one of those situations where you end up attracting like minded persons, so much so that I've attracted a very like minded woman who actually has a podcast that is focused also on enhancing and supporting women attracting and achieving balance in their life. It's actually called the Balanced, Beautiful, Abundant Show. And so I was just like really pumped up to be able to universally attract Rebecca Whitman into my life, who has an amazing, amazing career journey and story that she's going to share with us today. And I think now the work that Rebecca is focused on, where she's helping women in particular to create that abundant life, the deep down life that we all desire and deserve. I think that this is just an amazing space for her to be in. And she's such a beautiful soul that I'm just really looking forward to being able to share her perspectives on leading and coaching in this space. She combines metaphysical teaching, the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, as well as her background coming from going to Princeton and being a business savvy woman. So I think she'll have a lot to share with us today, and I'd like you to just give her a warm welcome to the Balanced Lady Boss community. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Stacy. It's so nice to be here. We are definitely kindred spirits.
Absolutely. So I want to start off with our main core area. So, here on the Balanced Lady Boss Show, we focus on three core areas: boardroom, bedroom, bliss. And the community at large typically wants to hear all about the career journey because every woman that comes on has such a fascinating and dynamic background, and you are no exception to that. So I would love to invite you, Rebecca, to just share with us, what has your boardroom journey been like?
Sure. Well, I graduated from Princeton and I thought I wanted to work in corporate entertainment. So I moved to New York City and I thought I was going to get like a big salary. And they said, you can only work for free as an intern. So I said, forget that. So I started circling ads in the help wanted section, in ancient history when it wasn't online. And an ad said circle me, and I circled the ad, and it was network marketing. And I did that for 6 years. And in that industry, I learned from self made millionaires the art of selling. So I took that sales experience to Hollywood. I was like, I want to pursue acting, but I don't want to be a broke waitress. I want to have an all commission sales job. So I started working at different children's acting schools, selling education, selling children's acting classes. So as I was doing that, I had a lot of free time and I started studying with great metaphysical teachers. I started studying with Michael Beckwith and Abraham, channeled by Esther Hicks. I know you love Abraham too.
Yes.
And Marianne Williamson and Wayne Dyer and all these great teachers. So as I was pursuing acting and keeping myself afloat with all commission sales, I did more than keep myself afloat. I actually made six figures while
Wow.
I was pursuing acting.
Wow.
So I was, then the last piece of the puzzle was I want to learn like how to love. So I ended up getting divorced. So I did not, I was not a great student at the medical physical teachings with love. But in the office of the therapist, she said, Rebecca, do you want to be married? And I said, I want a life of ease, grace, and spiritual dignity, whatever that looks like, whether that's married, single, whatever. And that was a big epiphany to me. So I realized I had to get out of that marriage. As my marriage was ending, my dad died. Literally, my dad's funeral and my marriage divorce was finalized the same week, within 3 days.
Oh, wow.
On my dad's deathbed, he said, will you write something? I don't care if it's a book, an essay, a magazine article. And I said, yes, I will. I believe that God speaks through other people. I didn't know what to write. So I was sitting in my financial planner's office in workout clothes. My financial portfolio was very healthy. And he said, Rebecca, you're always coming here in workout clothes, yet your finances are abundant. Why don't you write a book and teach women how you're doing what you're doing? So I said, that's what I'm going to write. I'm going to write a book called How to Make Six Figures Working Part Time. And in that book, I divide life into 7 pillars of abundance. And when they're all in alignment, you can make six figures. You can manifest your soulmate, which I recently did. You can have your best body, whatever you want. So I've been coaching on the principles in that book now for the past couple years. And I just love empowering women to go from burned out to balanced, beautiful, and abundant.
Oh wow. No, that's epic. That's an epic story. And I really love it because it's been an interesting transition for me from logical, practical thinking, and even having a very Christian based belief system, almost in the dogmatic sense, to being more open spiritually. And also understanding that with that openness and that metaphysical connection, you literally can create the life that you want. And so you have multiple things working in your favor. You just have to align yourself with the energy that you need to have and the vibrations that you're putting out as an individual person. It's quite a shift in the way of thinking, especially when you are, I would say, a type A high performer, very goal driven person, because you like logical steps. You like knowing that this equals this, and that's the path, right? So it's really cool to talk with someone else who has been able to expand their mind to access different ways of attracting the life that you desire. So,
Yeah.
would you say that you, through your kind of unusual career path, you've been able to now figure out the 7 pillars that you teach and access the life you want through those 7 lenses? So, at any point in time, if there's a lens that's off, you kind of can figure it out. Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so actually, the 7 pillars are spirituality, fitness, emotions, romance, mental, social, financial.
Mhm.
So, not everybody has all 7 pillars at a level 10. So, if something is off, like for example, maybe my social life is off a little bit because we've had a pandemic. I haven't like been going out and socializing as much as I like to. So then I need to make an extra effort. Okay, I am going to schedule, and I actually have that as one of my affirmations, one social visit a week with a friend, whether that's a walk or a coffee or a FaceTime call, because that area is out of alignment. So yeah, once you have this paradigm to look at life through, you can kind of see, what's at a level 10 and what is not at a level 10, and then put some energy toward that area to get it back up there to a level 10.
Now, are you ever at a level 10 in all areas at any one point in time?
Yes.
You think
Yeah,
so?
I am. It is possible, and it's freaking awesome. It's like hyper life. You're
Yeah.
just firing at a level 10 in all areas. It's absolutely possible. Not all the time, but I have experience. It's like being in the zone, right? When athletes are in the
Yes.
zone, they're not always in the zone. Sometimes they just show up and they just, go to practice, or they just call it in. But when they are in the zone, oh my God, does it feel good?
No, I totally get that. I totally get that. Okay, so talk to me a little bit about acting, because the acting part of your life had its own little experience. So let's share a little bit about what that was like for you.
Yeah, so I started acting and modeling when I was 8. I started modeling in the local newspapers where I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Mhm.
And then I had to put it on hold until after college because I was an athlete. I played tennis at Princeton University. So as soon as I graduated from college, I'm like, I got to get back to the acting.
Mhm.
So I in New York City, I started taking acting classes and I loved acting, but I really wanted TV and film. So I moved to LA and it was a lot harder than I thought because I'm a type A overachiever. And pretty much if I set my mind to something and
Mhm.
study and work hard, I'll get it. But this was one thing that eluded me, Stacey, and it was really humbling.
Mm.
So I just had to really, look inward and say, you know what? Do I have faith that everything happens for a reason?
Mm.
I wasn't supposed to be a famous actress for a reason. Maybe it was because I was supposed to learn how to self validate. Maybe I would have gotten all my validation from the outside and from
Yeah.
being famous. Maybe something terrible would have happened, right? Maybe I would have gotten on a set and there would have been some, like, accident. Who knows? But I have to have faith
Mm.
that everything happens for a reason. And through the acting lessons and classes, I learned so much about how to present and how to public speak. And now I use that to empower women.
Yes.
And I still dabble in it. I just had an audition Monday for like a major Netflix show.
Ah,
So I still have an agent. I'm still in LA. I still dabble in it. I'm still open, to whatever's meant to happen.
yes.
Why not? Everybody has a passionate hobby.
Yes.
So I still have my hand in it.
Oh, okay. No, that's cool. And I actually like what you said about that the fact that you've remained open, right? And it's interesting to start as a child in that industry, at whichever point it is, whether it's commercials or magazine, newspaper, which is, kind of what you were introduced, the way you were introduced to it. I was listening to recently. I was ill, and I played a lot of Louise Hay while I wasn't feeling great. And there was one particular YouTube where she talked about her self discovery, and that she really didn't come into that until her late 40s. And it wasn't until she was 50 that she actually discovered a lot of the teachers that you and I have been spending time with over the last, and it wasn't until then that she started to figure out establishing a publishing house, which is now one of the largest publishing houses or most popular publishing houses for books around spirituality and for very big authors like Wayne Dyer and Gabby Bernstein and so forth. And that happened, in her 50s. She established it at that point. And when she was 70 something, she started learning ballroom dancing, so at any given point in time, like now could when you're supposed to be this, huge actress. You don't know.
Yeah, you know.
So staying open, like you said, and having faith that everything happens for a reason, as it should, when it should, I think is really, really beautiful. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, it's about trusting divine timing. And sometimes when you totally let go, I know Abraham says that a lot. Like if there's something that you really want, just and you're not getting it, just stop talking about it. Don't put any energy on it. And that's sometimes when it comes around. I know that's what happened with my romance. I was doing a 90-day dating detox. So I was like, I'm not thinking about men, I'm not talking about men, I'm not worrying about men. And 6 weeks into that dating detox is when I met my soulmate, Ben. So, sometimes just not putting any energy on something is better than just relentlessly pursuing it when you're not getting results.
Yeah. Oh, we're definitely going to dive into your soulmate story when we get to bedroom. I can't wait. That's going to be good. It's going to be juicy. Is there any particular project that you're working on now that you're really excited about in the boardroom space that you want to share with our community?
Yeah, so I have a 7 week training called Elegant Warrior Training, and it's an amazing program. It's a weekly online program where each week we do a deep dive into one of the pillars and we give you tips, tools, strategies that you can apply that day to have major shifts and breakthroughs. And I've done this training several times now. We've had huge success stories. People have released weight, manifested their soulmate, decluttered their home. It's just been amazing what happens in the 7 week Elegant Warrior training. So that is where my passion is right now, as far as the boardroom, is creating elegant warrior women.
Oh, that's amazing. And do you find that going through the process of teaching and coaching others helps you to continue to evolve in your own space as a warrior woman?
Oh my God, yes, because I'll teach something and I'll be like, well, I haven't been doing that. I better start doing that too because I'm teaching it. So
Yes.
every time I teach something, then I'm reminded that I need to be doing it too. So I get breakthroughs every time I take women through the 7 week training. So it's pretty awesome.
Mhm. Nice, nice, excellent. All right, so let's segue into, I think, what the point that is just the highlight for a lot of my Balanced Lady Boss workshops, which is in the space of bedroom. And
Hmm.
bedroom is all about intimate relationships, and that's intimate relationships with, your romantic love partner. It can be with your kids, it can be with your parents, and it is for many women that romantic love partner space is the most sought after, the most discussed, talked about. It's the area where I think, and I say this almost every episode, but it's so true because, and when I had Matt Boggs on recently, who's a relationship coach, and he said the reason for that is because that is where you experience the deepest hurt.
Mm, yes.
And so we spend a lot of our time either trying to protect ourselves from it or to recover from it, right?
Mhm.
To find that love of your life, that can bring you into a space of continuous bliss. And you had a journey similar to mine in that you went through divorce, painful divorce, and then are now on a new soulmate journey. What has that been like for a person that is a high achiever, and is a go-getter, and has gone through tremendous heartbreak? What was it like to go through that and then to rebuild?
No, it's interesting because I am type A. So if I don't succeed in something, I'm like, I need to study, I need to learn. I studied with a relationship coach who was great because she taught the feminine and the masculine energy, but
Mhm.
she also was a little bit old fashioned because she's like, you can either be a career woman or like uh, an ideal woman that's looking for a man. So I would always downplay my career and I would always just kind of not really, not really lead with it, not really just even talk about it at all. And what happened was I invited Ben to my book launch party. So I wrote a book. It's called How to Make a Six-Figure Income Working Part-Time. I know I mentioned it.
Right.
It was
Yes.
my dad asked me to write. So I actually met him the week before at just a normal house party that was thrown by the owner of my gym, and I said, "Hey, meet me at my book signing party next week." He showed up, and I was giving up my first workshop ever on the 7 pillars. There were 80 people there, standing room only. So he got to see me in my power, and he bought the book and then asked me out, and we've been together ever since. So it was a really great lesson for me, Stacy, that the right man will actually love that I'm in my power and celebrate
Mhm.
my power, my elegant warrior side, and not be threatened by it.
Yeah.
I've had so many other relationships where they were threatened by me being like a powerful, ambitious woman. And this guy was like celebrating it and excited and wanting to support me. And it was just, that was a major lesson in my love life.
Nice. No, that's actually an interesting point because I think a lot of women may not even know they're experiencing a man that is not championing their power in the
Mm,
space of work. Because it doesn't always look like somebody putting you down, right? Sometimes it can be where it seems like there's always a competition,
mm,
your work, it's almost like you feel like you can't share about it, or it can't be discussed because it creates a problem, you
yeah,
know. It can show up in ways where it's given a highlight, but it's almost like you have to choose, you know.
right.
and that's not necessarily what serves us, is feeling like being meant to feel like we have to choose, you know.
Exactly.
So what would you say is one of the things from your work in the pillar of intimate romantic relationships? What is the maybe one thing that you would share with our community that you recommend that women should do who are seeking
Yeah.
to be at a 10? in that space?
What I would recommend they do, and I know a lot of coaches say this, is write down everything you want and don't be shy. Like, don't be like, oh, well, that's too much, because I wrote down 57 things that I wanted.
Yeah.
57, and I got 56 out of 57.
Wow.
And I was just shocked when I met him. So I would recommend that you write everything down and don't make it about how they look. It's more about how do I want to feel when I'm with them? Do I want to feel sexy, romantic, playful, connected, authentic? Like he really gets me.
Mhm.
It's more like instead of saying, "Oh, he's got to be 6'2", athletic build," like that. It doesn't matter. He's gonna show up the way God wants him to show up.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it's more about how do I want to feel and what do I want to experience with this person.
Mhm.
So one of the things I put on my list is I want to be with a man who wakes up in a good mood.
Mm.
He's
Oh
in a good
gosh.
mood.
Yes, that's such a good point. Like we don't even think about things like that, but that one is actually pretty good. That one is actually pretty good. Yeah, because I actually am not necessarily like interestingly, people think I am a morning person, which I guess I am to some extent. But if I don't get a good night's sleep, I am grumpy in the morning.
Yeah.
I am just grumpy. So yeah, that actually makes sense. I like that one. A little bit of you don't think about it, but yeah, you're gonna be waking up with this person every day. So you kind of want to make sure that, is a
Yeah, so if someone wakes up in a bad mood and they're just like, another day of life, this sucks, it just kind of sets a bad tone for your
yes,
day.
yes, it sucks the energy out of your day. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, would you say that you have been able to access more bliss for yourself because you have been able to create this really beautiful relationship, love relationship that serves your soul?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's not everything. A lot of women, through literature and music and movies, we're brainwashed. It's everything. Like you have to have this guy to be in bliss. I actually was in bliss first before
Mhm.
I met the guy. I was just so happy with my life and just wanting to be around positive, high energy, high vibe people and really just excited about my life. And then the romance, it added to the bliss. It threw some gasoline on the fire.
Yeah.
But I already had the fire of bliss going.
I like that. It threw gasoline on the fire. Yes, bring the gasoline. It's the one time you probably say something crazy like that.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about bliss. We love to hear when we have guests who are being really intentional about their wellness. Please share with us, maybe a recent struggle that you've had with bliss, with that self-care space, and how you overcame it.
Wow, that's a great question. So with self-care, I've been doing really well in this area for a long time. I believe in radical self-care.
Mm. What does that look like?
Radical self-care, I believe it looks like hydration, movement. I call it H&M, like the H&M store. Have H&M in Jamaica?
No, we don't, unfortunately. And it's one of the things that, trust me, every time I'm back home, I'm like, just take me there.
Yeah, so H&M is like, throwaway fashion.
Yeah.
So hydration, nutrition, movement, meditation.
Oh.
So hydration, drinking plenty of water every day, nutrition, eating really clean, eating things that enhance my body. I do get one cheat day. I call it Fun Food Friday, where I can eat anything I want. Uh, but nutrition is really clean. Movement, exercise is so important. I try to walk 5,000 steps a day no matter what with my dog. And then I do exercise 5 days a week. Anything, it could be tennis, it could be yoga, it could be weight training. And then finally, meditation. I try to meditate every day for at least anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, and that's what my self-care looks like. When I'm off on something, it's usually the meditation. If I'm off on my self-care, I won't make time for the meditation. I feel myself getting a little bit more impatient, a little bit more, grumpy with people when I don't meditate. So that would be something that I could really bolster, is just having a better meditation practice. But yeah, self-care also. I had a big crisis with self-care in April. I actually had emergency gallbladder surgery
Oh,
and I
wow.
had to get my gallbladder removed. And in Chinese medicine, the gallbladder is what processes anger. So I had to look within and say, wow, I'm holding on to anger, or I had unforgiveness, in my body. It could have been from a long time ago that actually resulted in a failed gallbladder. And it was just a huge lesson in surrendering,
Mhm.
forgiveness, forgiving people
Mhm.
more and not holding on to that, because dis-ease is dis-ease disease. It's dis-ease in the body. So that was a very humbling lesson in self-care, because I thought I was doing so well, and
Right.
now I'm like then I see myself in the hospital and on like tubes, and I'm going, wow, like what did I miss?
Yeah, no, that's actually really good. The point that you made, just because I was going to ask that, when we're talking with persons who are maybe not necessarily at the same level of, positive habits, healthy habits kind of thing. And, when they look at you as a coach or someone who is leading or guiding in that space, you don't think looking on that they have challenges, right? And sometimes even when you're in it as the coach or as the expert in the space, you are doing all these things. You have all these practices to enhance your being, your soul, your body, your mind. And then it's almost like the universe gives you more opportunities to evolve, right? And that happened for you with your illness last year, and you were able to grow out of that, which is part of it that I think that some people miss, which is where the maturity level comes in. It's being able to see that when life hands you the lemons, so to speak, um, you not only make lemonade, but you learn how to make the lemonade, right? You learn why you needed to make the lemonade, you know so totally get that. Love that story. Thank you for sharing that. Do you have in your H&M, do you have one or two maybe lesser known things that you do, or practices or practice that you do that really works well for you, that you think it's like a secret sauce that maybe people need to be doing but they're not doing it?
Yes, so it's my morning detox water.
Oh, tell me about
So
that.
when you sleep, your body is processing a lot of toxins. And if you eat first thing in the morning, then the toxins don't get flushed out.
Mhm.
So when you wake up, I really think it's important to just drink water. You can put juice like lemon,
Mhm.
lime juice,
Mhm.
just that alone. Lemon juice is good. Lime juice is even better. If you really want to get crazy, you can add apple cider vinegar, 1 or 2 tablespoons. But you drink it every morning, and then you wait, at least 20, 30 minutes to have your first meal.
Mhm.
And that really, really helps your body. It helps your skin. It helps with anti aging. It helps your immune system. So that would be a huge, huge secret sauce, is having that morning detox water every morning.
Wow. Okay, so I like that, because it gives you a place to start, and then morning routines are huge in my community. I talk about morning routines
Yeah.
and how much that has made a significant change in my life. I'm addicted to my morning routine. I will not go back. And I like things that can fit into that space. So morning detox water. I actually do have water now. I actually have one of the things that I put in my water. This is it's called Phytoprogest. It's really an iron supplement which helps with iron absorption, and you have to put the droppers in water. So I I'm a tea drinker, so usually in the mornings I like try to get tea more, like just right off the bat. But what I've been able to do now is, because I have to be doing this iron supplement thing, I'm actually having water first, like a couple glasses of water first. And I'm hard like drinking water, can I tell you? So I think I'm actually doing your morning detox, your morning water detox without even knowing without knowing I was doing it, you know. So
I like putting minerals in the water too. So
ah yes,
that's another thing you could add to the morning detox water to make it even better. They have liquid minerals. You can buy them on Amazon, and that's that. If you put it in with the lemon, you don't even taste the minerals. So that's
yes,
yeah, the morning detox, and then you can drink tea. Another hack is if you want to do like fasting and you don't want to have your first meal until lunch, you can put a little bit of fat in the tea,
yes.
either a tablespoon of coconut oil or MCT
Oh
oil,
my
and
gosh,
then you
yes,
don't eat.
I've heard
Yeah,
that.
and then you don't eat till lunch.
I don't even know how people do it. I don't know that I could do it, but I hear it works. I hear it works really well. Now, one of the things that you describe in the way that your elegant warriors are trained, I'll use training, is that you want them to live a life that has grit.
Yeah,
And I think when we're talking about, taking care of yourself and being in that space of self care and bliss, managing your emotional wellness or your romantic wellness, and even, how you lead in the boardroom, I think people more attribute grit to work. It kind of falls into that category. Can you share a little bit about how you view grit? Like, where does that stand for you in your program, and how you teach it?
I think you can have grit in every single area, especially like with working out. You can have them with with finances, obviously, like you said, the boardroom. But emotionally, you can have grit because it takes a lot of strength to come from love. So if somebody is insulting you or criticizing you, in my Elegant Warrior training, I teach them whatever they give you, you come back with love. And that takes a lot of grit because people, when they see someone who is happy and high vibe, if someone's not that way, they want to tear you down. And to stay in the high vibration of love no matter what, I think that takes the ultimate grit.
No, that's good. That's a really good example, actually. I would never have necessarily used love and grit in the same sentence, but the way that you explained that just now, because especially in leadership roles, you do find that you do have to bring a different level of loving in order to lead well. And
Mm-hmm.
I experience a lot of that in the corporate side of my life. So totally, totally get that. That's a really good example. Now, usually on the show, as we come to wrap up, I always ask for one thing that you feel has really served you. It could be a quote, or it could be a best practice, or a decisive way that you've decided to live your life. Is there one thing that you would offer to women as a piece of advice? It can also be specific to one of the three core areas. But what's the one thing you would say has really been an anchor for you in how you are living your life now?
I would say it's stop taking yourself so damn seriously
I love that.
because as a natural type A alpha woman, I can be way too serious and just not have enough fun. And oh, I just got chills. So I was meant to share this with your listeners. Have more fun, be more playful. When children are born, they're closest to source. They have it down. They know how to be playful and loving and fun, and they don't care about what people think, and they're in the moment. Be more childlike. Get in touch with your inner child. How did you play on the playground, and how much fun did you have discovering things and finding the wonder in life? And I would say, to cultivate playfulness as my final words to your listeners.
No, that's actually really good. We don't really play very well as adults, do we?
Enough.
We don't play enough. Amen. So thank you so much, Rebecca. This was really, really great. I did actually get the pleasure of joining Rebecca's podcast, and I'm so happy that I was able to share there as well.
Oh my God. Yeah, your listeners jump over to my podcast. Stacy
Yes.
killed it. She had the best interview ever. She hit the ball out of the park, and it was just so wonderful to have you as a guest on my show as well. So, yeah, jump over to Balanced, Beautiful, and Abundant and listen to
Yes.
Stacy because she's amazing.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to check out more information on Rebecca, including the 7-week training program for becoming an elegant warrior woman, please visit her website at RebeccaElizabethWhitman.com. That will, of course, be in the show notes and in the description on our YouTube channel. So thanks so much again for joining, Rebecca. I really appreciate your time with us today and for being a part of the Balanced Lady Boss community.
Yes, it was a pleasure. Thanks for having me.